Have you ever watched a talented player waste away on the bench, buried in the depth chart, while the team desperately searches for scoring solutions that are literally sitting right in front of them? Welcome to the Nick Robertson saga in Toronto, a story dripping with frustration, untapped potential, and organizational indecision that's reaching a boiling point. The Toronto Maple Leafs are tinkering with their lineup like a mechanic who keeps changing parts without diagnosing the real problem. And meanwhile, one of their most naturally gifted goal scorers is collecting splinters on the fourth line. After a deflating loss to the Seattle Kraken that had goaltender Anthony Stolarz publicly venting his frustrations, even taking subtle shots at star forward William Nylander, the cracks in Toronto's early season facade are starting to show. Sure, Nylander leads the team with 11 points through 6 games, and the usual suspects like Matthew Knies, John Tavares, Auston Matthews, and Morgan Rielly are producing. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Outside of the elite core, secondary scoring is virtually non-existent. And while management scrambles to find answers, Nick Robertson sits in limbo, a player the organization is reportedly trying to solve like he's some kind of mathematical equation rather than a human being with legitimate NHL talent. Let's cut through the noise and get the facts. According to Elliotte Friedman on the October 20th episode of the 32 Thoughts podcast, the Maple Leafs are actively trying to resolve the Robertson situation. I think Nick Robertson in Toronto, that's another one that I think the Maple Leafs are trying to solve, Friedman revealed. I think people kind of recognize that it's time, so we'll see if they can find something there. That phrase, "it's time," carries weight. It suggests that both the player and the organization have reached a crossroads where continuing down the current path benefits nobody. Robertson requested a trade this past summer, a clear signal that his patience with limited opportunities had run out. The Maple Leafs didn't grant that request, and now they're stuck in an awkward dance where neither party seems particularly happy. But here's where the story gets interesting and, frankly, infuriating for anyone who believes in meritocracy. Robertson has proven he can score at every level of hockey. Over the past 2 NHL seasons, he's posted 14 and 15 goals respectively, playing 56 games in 2023-24 and 69 games in 2024-25. Those aren't superstar numbers, but they're solid contributions, especially when you consider the context. Robertson has never averaged more than 12 minutes of ice time per game in an NHL season. Think about that for a moment. The Maple Leafs are trying to evaluate a player's worth while refusing to give him meaningful minutes in situations where he could actually showcase his abilities. This is where the story transforms from frustrating to downright maddening. When you dig into the advanced statistics, Robertson's production becomes impossible to ignore. From the 2023-24 season through October 21st, 2025, Robertson ranks second on the entire Maple Leafs roster in goals per 60 minutes at 5-on-5, posting an impressive 1.12 G/60. The only player ahead of him? Auston Matthews, one of the premier goal scorers in the entire NHL with 1.41 G/60. Let that sink in. Robertson is producing goals at a higher rate per minute than William Nylander, 1.11 G/60, Matthew Knies, 1.05 G/60, and virtually every other forward on the roster not named Matthews. Just below Robertson is Bobby McMann at 1.11 G/60, another player who was given an extended opportunity on the top line and made the most of it. These aren't cherry-picked statistics designed to make Robertson look good. These are objective measurements of production efficiency, and they paint a crystal clear picture. When Robertson is on the ice, good things happen, goals get scored, opportunities get created, the team performs better. So, why, in the name of all that is logical and reasonable, is he languishing in the bottom 6? Here's where the Maple Leafs approach becomes truly baffling. Toronto's top 6 wingers have been a revolving door to start the season, with head coach Craig Berube cycling through options like he's conducting some kind of bizarre social experiment. The carousel has included Easton Cowan, a 20-year-old jumping straight from junior hockey who looked increasingly overwhelmed against NHL competition. It's featured Matthias Maxelli, Max Domi, and various configurations that haven't produced consistent results. Jonas Siegel of The Athletic captured the situation perfectly on October 20th. Easton Cowan has looked more and more like a 20-year-old leaping straight from junior into the NHL and onto a top line in the NHL, for that matter. He also struggled to make positive plays with the puck against the Kraken and was dropped from the top line after 2 periods and replaced by Nylander. Siegel continued. Nylander is the third right winger after Cowan and Maxelli that Berube has tried on the top line, and fourth if you include Max Domi's oh-so-brief spin there in training camp. By October 20th practice, Domi was on the top line while Maxelli skated on the second line with Tavares and Nylander. The constant shuffling suggests a coaching staff searching desperately for chemistry that remains elusive. Meanwhile, Robertson, a player with proven NHL goal-scoring ability and elite production rates, watches from the sidelines or gets token shifts in defensive situations where offensive creativity is discouraged. The solution to the Robertson problem isn't complicated. In fact, it's so obvious that the organization's failure to implement it borders on organizational malpractice. Elevate Nick Robertson to the top line. Give him a legitimate, extended opportunity. Not 1 game, not 2 periods, but a genuine chance to prove what he can do with elite line mates and meaningful minutes. This approach creates a win-win scenario for everyone involved. If Robertson thrives alongside Matthews or Tavares, his trade value skyrockets. Suddenly, teams aren't offering 7th-round picks for a disgruntled 4th liner, they're competing with legitimate assets for a proven top-6 scorer who can produce at an elite rate. If Robertson struggles and proves he can't handle top-line responsibilities, the Maple Leafs get definitive answers. They can then move him for whatever they can get, put him on waivers, or accept a modest return knowing they gave him every opportunity to succeed. Either outcome is better than the current situation, where Robertson's value depreciates daily as he sits in hockey purgatory, his confidence eroding and his trade value plummeting. This situation reveals something deeper about the Maple Leafs organization, a troubling pattern of mismanaging young talent and making decisions based on gut feelings rather than objective data. Robertson has earned an opportunity through his production. He's proven he can score goals efficiently. He's shown he can handle NHL competition. Yet he remains buried because why exactly? Because he's young? Because he doesn't fit someone's preconceived notion of what a top-line player should look like? Bobby McMahon was given an extended opportunity and made the most of it. Easton Cowan, despite being years away from NHL ready, got multiple games on the top line. Even Matthias Maxelli, acquired mid-season, received immediate top-6 deployment. Robertson, who has been in the organization for years and consistently produced when given chances, remains on the outside looking in. The clock is ticking on the Nick Robertson situation in Toronto. Every game he sits in the bottom 6 is another game his value decreases, another day his confidence takes a hit, and another missed opportunity for the Maple Leafs to either unlock a valuable asset or definitively answer questions about his ceiling. The solution isn't rocket science. Put Robertson on the top line. Give him 15 to 17 minutes per game. Let him play with skilled line mates who can complement his goal-scoring ability. Then evaluate the results based on actual performance rather than assumptions. If it works, Toronto either discovers a secondary scoring solution they desperately need or creates significant trade value. If it doesn't work, they get clarity and can move forward with confidence. What they can't afford is more of the same, more wasted potential, more organizational indecision, and more questions about whether they're maximizing their roster's capabilities. The Maple Leafs are trying to solve Nick Robertson. The answer is right in front of them. The only question is whether they have the courage to actually implement it. What's your read on this situation? Should Toronto give Robertson a real shot on the top line, or is it time to cut bait and move him for whatever they can get? Have you ever seen a team mismanage a player's potential this badly, or am I being too harsh on the Maple Leafs decision-making? Hit that like button if you think Robertson deserves better, and drop your hottest takes in the comments. I'm genuinely curious whether you think this is organizational incompetence or if there's something I'm missing here.